I got told this when I was about 21. Never forget, it was a great bit of advice. You know, when you have friends or people that you know and love, when you're always like, how's things, pal? Always when you ask that, people always, no matter if they're having a shit day or a great day or whatever, they're always like, all good. And then they're going to just talk about normal things.
Yeah.
But always ask people more than one time when you're in the conversation then with them, not just at the start of the conversation, how's things? Always say, ask someone actually how they are. No, but like, really, like, how's life? Like, how are you getting on, like, with family? And then, only the second time you ask that question will you really get a true answer on how people's lives are. Some people sometimes don't want to speak about it, but then sometimes some people need to speak about it. And believe it or not, you can save a life by asking that question the second time.
Welcome to episode 2 of Fights Outside the Ring with Kez. On this episode, I'm going to be chatting with Jono Carroll, Irish professional boxer.
Kez, how are you doing?
What's up, pal?
Oh, good. How's things?
Things are good. Long
Deadly.
time no talk.
I know. It's been too long if you ask me.
Yeah. It's like Instagram and Facebook is like great for connecting you, but it's not the same. Like at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I have to say. I'm one of them that like I almost hate Instagram, hate being on social media. I believe it like clouds your mind from real life, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I got so many like good friends that I wouldn't keep in contact with if it wasn't for social media at the same time. So it is what it is, I suppose. You know what I mean? It's like you take the good with the bad.
It's kind of like an introvert's way to stay sociable, I think.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But you know me, I'm sociable. I like being out and seeing people, you know, that way I don't like being out. And when I'm out with people, I'm like, I don't want to be on my phone. And you're sitting there kind of having coffee or whatever with people, and they're like, head glued into your phone. You're like, yeah, what are you up to?
You're right with that. It's a monster.
I know.
Before we crack on, how's Grayson doing?
Grayson's great. Yeah, he's really good. He's actually downstairs. I should be probably feeding him right now, but I did start to do this.
I love it.
I just stick to my word. I promise you I'd do it. So, but tonight is my night feed. We do one night on, one night off. So
yeah. All right. Good. Now that's funny knowing that. John, like, as he's such a little fighter, I'm sure he can hang on a few minutes without his food.
Yeah. If he's acting like his mom, he can't.
Yeah.
but I'm good with that restrictions and whatnot. You know, like not eating and all. It just comes down to discipline. You know what I mean? But
he's in fight camp already. He doesn't even know it.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, but his mom is down there looking after him, so he's in good hands.
Thanks, Gemma. Well, then what I'll do is we'll crack on with the questions. But I mean, if you want to just kind of, everyone knows you as, I mean, what they see on social media, which is kind of like really smiley, big beard, fighter from Ireland, like energetic guy and all of this. But is there anything like to people that don't know you? Is there anything more to you that, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they don't know you, who is Jono Carroll?
If people judge me by social media, then they just don't know me whatsoever. Nobody knows anybody through social media. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the same person that I am on social media that I am at home or that I am in the gym. You know what I mean? I think the Chinese say that we have 4 faces. You know, the one we show to our loved ones, the one we show to like friends, and then one to family, and then others to like social media and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, for me, I try give out as much positive energy as possible, because I understand the whole law of attraction, and what you put out in the world is what you get back. So that's why the only time you'll ever see me on social media is trying to be positive. I don't like to give out about things. Even if I don't agree with something, I won't usually say it too much on social media. Other than sometimes I've talked about the COVID stuff, but like only mainly to say my opinion. But at the same time, like, I'm not one of those that is like, my opinion is the correct opinion and that's all. You know, I'm not one of them. It's like everyone is entitled to their opinion and just have your say, and that's it. That's just the way I am, you know that way? But mostly, yeah, you see the positive side of me, because I like to put out positive energy. I like to uplift people. There's no point in putting out that negative energy, you know what I mean? Because like that, it only comes back to you in the same way. So
yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. It's like like everything around us is infectious, and like literally whatever you think is true. So if you're thinking negative, of course you're just going to get that back to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is as well is like, if you are speaking positive all the time, you're only going to attract positive people to you. And I only want positive people around me. But if I'm
Yeah.
speaking on my problems on social media all the time, people are going to come to me with their problems. I don't want to fucking hear people's problems. Shit, I have my own problems. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to hear other people's problems. Don't be wrong. I like to help people if they're in need of help. You know, at the same time that, like, if I'm positive and I'm putting out something positive and someone is maybe uplifted by it, and they want to share their story and say, Jesus, it's good to see you being happy all the time. How do you do it? If they want to ask questions like that, I'm happy to give a bit of advice or whatnot, you know. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, no one's perfect. I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to be the best version of me possible. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah. Nah, it's working because, like, you know, obviously I know you already. Like, I've known you in person, but like when I'm on social media, I know if I click on your story, I'm at least gonna feel a little bit inspired by whatever, or I'm gonna laugh, smile, or feel inspired. It's like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, like why
yeah,
do you not want to put that energy out, and you know what I mean? Like, spread that for sure.
yeah, 100%. No, 100%.
Right, I'm gonna crack on with some specific questions here, and kind of pull from whatever feeling you have, and kind of like what you just said. It's like, you put your story out there, you might help one person, or you might help 100 people, like, that are in a similar situation or have been there, and just, you know what I mean, like, you're helping them with that problem with your positive energy sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
number
yeah.
one, what motivates and drives you?
Myself. Myself. Like, because at the end of the day, if you look at other things that motivate you and drive you, like, obviously my family does as well, but if you look at other things like motivational videos, like, oh, motivation, that shit all burns out sooner or later, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So my dreams and goals, like, I'm one of them that, like, I like to write down some goals, and like yearly goals, monthly goals, and then I try to hit those goals. And then I kind of give myself daily goals as well. Even if I don't write them down, I have them in my head and I'm saying I'm going to do that today. And if I don't feel it, then I feel like I let myself down that day, you know what I mean? So I'll come back the next day and make sure I have to work 2 or 3 times harder. So I motivate myself, you know. A lot of people ask me, like, who did you look up to? What box did you look up to now when you were younger? I'm like, no one. You know what I mean? I just want to be like me. I don't give a fuck about anyone else. I ain't on anyone else's journey. I'm on Jono Carroll's journey. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm living my life the way I want to live my life. I'm literally just trying to enjoy every moment. But I'm
yeah,
not trying to be like anyone else at the same time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I motivate myself to want better than what I had growing up, to want to give my family better than what I had growing up. And I'm not saying that I had it bad. I had it better than most. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna complain about my childhood. I had a fucked up, crazy childhood. I ain't gonna complain about it. You know what I mean? It was still a million times better than most people's childhoods. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like it was. But I motivate myself, and my family, of course, motivates me too because I want to give them better than what I got.
yeah, definitely, yeah. And like you said, it's not like that you didn't have a great childhood. Like, again, it's kind of like what you had, someone else didn't. What someone else had, you didn't. And it's like, if you could, like, someone said to me, like, if you were feeling shit, and you had a bag of problems, and you see this guy over here, would you want to trade like a bag of shit with this guy, like a bag of problems? And it's like, nah, like, because I can't remember what they were saying behind it, but it's something like, everyone has problems.
Yeah, everyone has
No one's
problems, and
no one's
everyone has.
better than the other, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like it's
yeah,
like that ripple effect. You know what I mean? Would you rather pass your problems on to someone else, or would you rather deal with them? I believe life throws problems at you. I wouldn't even call them problems, situations. I call them because nothing is a problem. You know, it all depends on how we look at things. It's always just about the situation. It's how you deal with the situation. Like life is going to throw a lot of fucked up shit at you, and that's
yeah,
almost what I do. I like training and boxing is because, for me, I like to discipline my body and mind through the boxing because then whatever life throws at me, I'm prepared for. I don't
yeah,
really like. I'm already like mentally prepared and physically prepared for whatever life throws at me. Life's gonna throw a lot more crazy shit at you than boxing is, you know. But boxing and throughout the discipline of the boxing, it shows you that everything is just situations. It's
yeah,
how you react to the situations that make things a problem or just make it a situation. You know that way?
yeah. It's almost like, yeah, they're all little opportunities to grow. You're never gonna have a smooth ride. All these little things, no matter how big or small, they come at you, opportunities to grow, and then or else just sit and then use that forever to be the reason you don't do shit.
Yeah, well, for instance, for an example, through some of the hardest shit that I've been through in my life, made me the better person that I am in my life. You know, if that makes sense. Like I've had a lot of fucked up shit. Like my mom died when I was 15 in a car crash, and then on my 16th birthday, I found my fucking uncle dead on the floor. I found him, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was my 16th birthday. Some
Yeah.
people would never be able to get over that type of shit, but for me, I grew and I got obsessed almost with the boxing because the boxing gave me a bit of a well, number one, it releases endorphins in your body when you train. So for me, it was like I felt good boxing. But number two, when you're in that ring for 3 rounds, sparring or fighting, whatever, it gave you that like mental break that you cannot focus on anything else outside of boxing other than shit. This fella's gonna punch me in the face if I'm not switched on here. You know what I mean? So everything that went on in the outside world faded away when you get into the boxing ring. You know, so throughout throughout the crazy shit that happened in my life, it made me focus on what made me feel good and what I actually wanted out of life, which was, I wouldn't say boxing, but boxing gave me discipline and gave me drive and something to focus on. You know what I mean? Whereas I wasn't focused on anything before this shit happened in my life. I wasn't focused on boxing. I wasn't focused on anything. I was just focused on being a kid and getting high and drunk and being a kid and being a dope. You know what I mean? Like just doing normal kids things. But
Yeah.
when this shit all happened in my life, I knew, right, I can go down a slippery slope here and go down a bad road like all my other friends and do what they're doing, or I can focus on something and give this my energy, and here we are today. You know what I mean?
So to go off that then, right? So what you said there is you're kind of met with two options right there, like keep going down that road or go up that road. That there is like a conscious decision you have to make. Like, so how do you self-educate that, like, this is better, that is better, or like not better, but like I know I need a strong mindset to do certain things, so I go out and listen to certain podcasts to build that strength. Like, so
Yeah.
what do you kind of do to self-educate and make those smart choices that are better for
At
you?
the time, I didn't know. Like at the time, I just focused on what was making me feel good, and the only thing in my life that was making me feel good was boxing, because I
Yeah,
was getting some positive reactions off people, and especially family members and stuff that was going through a hard time. For an example, like all the shit that happened with me, like with my mum and uncle and all. My family obviously was at taking a serious hit. So when I was boxing and competing, and I was winning fights and winning All Irelands, they were all so happy, and like it was giving them something to celebrate. So for in a way, it was almost like I was uplifting not just myself and progressing and getting better in my own life, but I was giving my family something to be happy and proud of. You know what I mean? So like, and then also because my mom was even though she was a woman, she didn't mind me being in the ring. She liked me fighting.
yeah,
Crazy as that was, because some others wouldn't be able to watch their son fighting. Whereas my
no,
mom was the loudest one in the crowd and fucking, the stupid, like, kill him! Stupid things. You can't be saying that when you're in a crowd, like, you know what I mean? A boxer's
yeah,
like, no, it's a respectful sport. You can't tell me to kill him. We're only 15 here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
she should be shouting in the crowd, but she was one of my biggest supporters. So for me, it was like I knew I wanted to make her proud. So in a way, I felt like I was always quite spiritual in my life. I wouldn't say too much holy, but I always believed there's something after death, after life. And I believed that my mum was looking down on me. So in a way, I was kind of like trying to make her proud. So then when I was making stupid decisions out in the street, which trust me, I made a lot of them fucking stupid decisions out in the street. At the same time, when I was doing good in boxing, I was making a lot of crazy decisions in my life because boxing was the only place I felt safe. Like I moved out of my house when I was 15 as well. Like I moved out. I had a lot of shit going on at the time. Like obviously I just had a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah,
uh, I was only maturing as well. I was only 15. But for me, it was like I was making a lot of crazy decisions outside of boxing. And then the older I got and more mature that I got, I was thinking like, if she's looking over me, she's not going to be too proud of some of the shit that I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? So I need to cop onto myself. If I truly believe she's watching over you, like it's like a good angel, bad angel on your shoulder. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, yeah.
at the teenager, you want to do all these mad things that all your friends are doing, but at the same time, it was like I felt like my mom, that angel was on my shoulder, was like, you can do better.
Like
in this,
tapping
like,
you, like, hello, like, are you
yeah,
sure you
like,
want to be doing that? I see it,
yeah,
like,
you're tired in this, like, in life in general, you know. So even in my relationships, I always felt like that. You know, like if I done something bad, like on a girl or whatever, or treated a girl like a little bit bad, because when you're a teenager, you know, like sometimes
yeah,
you do stupid shit, and I was like, oh, if my mom's looking at me right now, she wouldn't be proud of the man I am. So for me, it was always trying to make my mom proud.
yeah, that's
I
class,
believe
like,
I believe I'm doing that now. You know what I mean? I'm being the best version of myself every day, even when like I'm annoyed and shit happens. I'm able to like pull the reins in, and I don't freak anymore. I
yeah,
always know
yeah,
where I'm at. You know what I mean? Because of discipline, the discipline that I have in my life. But then at the same time, like going back to the question that you asked, like only recently I've been watching like a lot of Zad Guru and stuff. I've been watching like no, I always watch kind of Joe Rogan and a few of the likes of that, and then David Goggins and you know all these people who have done extraordinary things. Like I'll kind of watch a lot of them and see where their mindset is at. And when I'm watching them type of people, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the way I am. You know,
yeah,
I don't feel like they are any better than me or less than me. I don't judge myself and I don't judge them. I just feel like, yeah, we're all on a path, we're all on a journey, and my journey is beautiful at the minute. You know.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like the ability to feel like you have this to kind of stop, no matter where you are, every minute of the day, and make that best kind of decision for you going forward. You know what I mean? Like not get all of a sudden 3 weeks 3 weeks have passed and you've been on a downward spiral because you can stop yourself in moments and be like, is this my best self or is this me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I would say for like for that type of thing is everything. The perspective that we have on life is how you feel more or less our life. You know what I mean? So if you're having a shitty day, like it's your choice to have a shitty day. Like I've had many of fucking bad things happen in my days.
Yeah,
Many bad things happen in my days, but I wouldn't call them shitty days. I'm like, right, God's testing me here. We're gonna see what I'm made of today. You know,
yeah,
let's see how spiritual I am today, or let's see how fucking if I'm trying to claim that I'm a spiritual being, let's really see how spiritual I am. Let's believe in that this is meant to happen for a reason, and don't get down on yourself. Just understand that this is just a moment in time. Don't
yeah,
hold on to this time. Because let's say, for an example, like, this is just thrown out there, like, you can have pain for shit that happened 10 years ago. Like, my mom, I could still be caught up and be, like, crying today about shit that happened to me, man, 10 years, 11 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, or I could let that drive me on. So, that is a perspective in life. That is how I'm thinking. You know what I mean? So, like, why think on the negative when you can be thinking on the positive? Because
yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, when your life is all said and done, are you going to say you had a shit life or are you going to say you had a good life? I hope I can say I had a beautiful life. I hope I can say that, you know what? I enjoyed every moment, even the shit moments, I embraced them.
That's the thing. It's like you can't control the situation that lands at your feet, but you can control how you react to it. So like,
Most definitely, yeah.
yeah, and there's definitely days where you know you wake up on the wrong side of bed, and this is where I spend a lot
God.
of time like doing a lot of work. Is I wake up and I'm like I'm already, I don't know, something's picking and poking at me, and I feel like tested as hell, and I have to like stop, go to a quiet place for like 5-10 minutes, and be like, right, today's obviously gonna be there's something out there just wants to throw all this shit at you and
Yeah.
test you. So like I try to laugh and smile and be like, right, like get the mindset right for it. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
like just gonna go down and down and down like snowball.
Yeah, like many times shit happened and like I had a terrible day, or for an example, I woke up, like you said, on the wrong side of the bed and I could feel that I'm agitated today. If someone says something wrong to me, I'm gonna snap. Someone's gonna get bad, the energy up me, and I'm gonna run amok, like whatever. So
Yeah,
like, for me, I would prefer to go to the gym them mornings ASAP. I don't care if I don't have breakfast that morning. Just go to the fucking gym, train, and I come out of the gym and a much better person. Like a much
yeah,
better person. You know what I mean? Like that's why I always think discipline in the body and not just the mind. You know, I think you need to be disciplined in both. Even eating in your food, because I find when I eat bad food, sometimes I can be like a little bit like my energies don't be right. You know what I mean? When I'm eating bad food and
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah, if I have too much sugar, like, and I'm addicted, I'm like you, addicted to chocolate. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I get agitated and like annoyed, like easily annoyed, and I just feel like a ball of shit. Like,
I noticed it even with my baby now. Like she's only 4, but like sometimes if we went out for like food or whatever, the odd time she'll order an apple juice, And like, mostly she'll order water, and I'm delighted with that. But like, if she wants an apple juice, I'm not gonna say no. But the fuck me, sometimes when she has an apple juice, you're like, she for real? Like, she starts getting grumpy, starts getting messy and like cheeky and all. And you're like, that's that apple juice. I'm telling you, that's the sugar.
It's all the chemicals, like, you know what I mean?
Chemicals,
Yeah.
100%. So like, it is what it is, you know. But at the same time, look, I was getting back to what we were saying. It's all about how you react to the situations and problems, you know,
100%.
that determined if your book. Because I believe like we're all writing chapters, and every day we're writing a little story, like a script, you know. And like, if you're writing a chapter, make sure that's a good chapter before you close that chapter.
Yeah.
Let's try make it a good one. Don't be making your fucking little chapters bad, because someday you're probably gonna look back and say, "Oh, that was the best chapter in my life. That was the best times in my life." You know, you know when you're like, I remember my ma saying like when she was like whatever 25, 30, and she's looking at a picture and she was like, "Oh, I was fat then," and then like 5 years later she's like, "Look how skinny I am in this picture." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mad. It was always like when they look back on things, it was like they were the best times. But when they were going through them times, they weren't enjoying them. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's a strange one, having to stop and see where you are and live it a little bit rather than just
Yeah.
rushing through and not
Like
like.
I remember we lived with a lot of hippies down in Margaret River in Australia, and we were. I mean, in the morning, me and Jen was having this Subway foot long for like we split a foot long, like I had a 6-inch, she had a 6-inch for breakfast, and then the same for dinner. We literally lived off Subway for like we were broke. We lived in a hippie shed for a long time, like 3 months, 3.5 months or something, maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
And we were so broke, it was ridiculous. Like, but at the time, sometimes they felt like struggles, you know, because we were so broke and whatnot. But looking back on it, it was some of the best times in our lives because we didn't have many material things. We didn't have anything that we really held that much value of. But the times and the people that we spent time with was beautiful. We had many beautiful moments down there, and we always speak highly of the place. But when we were going through the situations, like, I didn't have money for a fucking haircut. That's how bad things were, you know what I mean? But yet, when we look back on those moments and them times, we always, like, speak highly and like, oh, that was deadly time, wasn't it? It's mad.
Well, it's kind of like you might have been broke and stuff like that, but, like, things that you can't buy is, like, people and interaction and just outlook on life and just stopping and living, like, you know what I mean? Just because you can't afford shit doesn't mean you should sit inside with your head burrowed down all day, like.
Yeah, 100%. Like, when at them times, we seen them, because we lived with hippies, like, we seen some of the most beautiful places. We spent time with the most beautiful people, sitting out the back having barbecues, playing hippies singing, like topless, in the fucking, with, like, playing guitars and shit. Like, you know, it was mad. It was a crazy time. Crazy time. It was a beautiful time as well at the same time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I love all the things that we've been through because I've been through a lot of journeys with Gemma that, like, people wouldn't understand, you know? Like, we've been really broke together. We've been on the high. We've had a good few quid together. We've kind of had our roller coasters, you know what I mean? And had our ups and downs. And it's been a great journey, you know what I mean? I wouldn't spend it with anybody else. Like, even now, like, if we're having a bad day, it's like, she's still my best mate. I know she's just being a fucking meltdown and annoying me today, but she's my best mate. And I'll always say that, you know what I mean? And I'll say it to her, like, you know, it's just, I wouldn't choose to do it with anyone else because we're both very mentally the same, spiritually the same, everything. It's a good journey, you know?
That's cool. That's cool when you find that, I think. It's really cool.
Definitely, yeah.
So then, what's been one lesson in life that you've learned, right? And it can be physical, mental, or mindset that you wish was taught in schools, like taught to you in school as a subject.
The law of attraction. The law of attraction.
I agree with that one, yeah, definitely.
And like money. We should be educated on money as well. We should be educated on, like, even attracting money into our lives. And not the whole system of being a sheep and having to work and pay the highest taxes, like be the worker, not the entrepreneur. We should be taught how to be an entrepreneur and think for ourselves. I always refused the schooling system because it was never me. I never wanted to be like a worker. You know, I was never an ant. I was never a sheep. Like, I wasn't that worker like that. I wanted to work for someone else's dream and goal. I was like, fuck that. Like, I want to do my own shit. I want to work for myself. I want to, like, I always knew growing up that I would work for myself. I'd earn my own money, I'd do whatever I had to do, whether that be even legal or illegal. Because at the time when I was in school, I was like, fuck this shit, I'll do whatever I want to do. Like, you know,
Not
I'll do
legal, I say.
whatever. Yeah, like at the time I had now, like, the only options in Ireland, unfortunately, at the time, the only people I used to see with money was people that was doing illegal shit. And that's the truth. You know,
Yeah.
so like I was always thinking like, fuck, I'll just do whatever I want to do. I ain't gonna work for that type of money when I can hustle for this type of money. You
I
know, I'm
think,
going to
yeah,
take a risk. But I didn't care at the time. I didn't care about my life,
yeah,
even though like because the shit I've been through with my mom and all, I didn't give a fuck about my life. Like I was so like live life for the moment. I was always one of them because my mom died so fast. Like it was a car crash. She was there I remember the night before, and the next day she was gone. I was like, what? The fuck do you mean she's gone? Like she's dead? What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? To then like never seen your ma alive or hear her voice again. You're like, what? That's crazy. Like how the fuck's that just happened like that? Like because you never think that it's gonna happen to you. You always hear stories of people dying and shit. But you never think your life is gonna end, or you never think your mom or dad's life is gonna end. You know,
yeah,
you always hear other people's lives and mad stories. You never think it's gonna be you. You know that way. So when that happened to me, man, I was always like I'm living my life for right now because I can get a bang of car tomorrow. So I don't give a fuck whether I'm doing illegal shit or legal shit. Now, lucky enough, I'm on the whole mindset like I want to do only legal stuff, and I want to be like living my life and be as positive as possible. And you know, like I'm on a total different mindset. But at the same time, I never lost that live your life for right now mindset.
yeah. That's good. And I think as terrible as your mom dying is, it I think it taught you something that a lot of people will never know, and like people like myself have to really stop and try teach ourselves because that hasn't happened to me. Like if something's annoying me right now, I'll spend like 2 hours like dug into like my own headspace about it, and it's like stop and look how amazing this world is, and you're letting your next door neighbor's music too loud really affect like stop and just think, like you said, it
Yeah,
could all just be taken away in a minute, like.
yeah, exactly. And like I've said it to many people, and this saying, like really, it's powerful if you really think into it. If you won't remember something in 10 years, why let it bother you for more than 10 minutes?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like I agree, some things are annoying and may frustrate you. So maybe let it bother you for 10 minutes and dig deep into it for 10 minutes and think on it. You know, but after them 10 minutes, say right, either I can change it or I can't.
yeah,
And if I can't change it, and I'm not going to remember this shit in 10 years, don't let it bother me for more than 10 minutes.
yeah.
And
I
that's
like that.
powerful. That's
Yeah,
powerful because, like, let's be real. Sometimes, like, you may have an argument with someone, and then you're like, "Oh, I should have said this and I should have said that," and she shouldn't have said this, and you're going over all these things that never happened. But realistically, that's just your mind playing tricks on you. That's just your mind taking control of the situation. When realistically, if you're in control of your mind, it's very easy to turn your mind off and saying, listen, we all speak to each other, speak to ourselves without being like crazy and psychotic and everything, like, you know, like we all have like conversations that go on in our head, you know, like when like that where I said, like, say you have an argument with someone and you're like, oh, I should have said this and should have said that.
yeah,
If you're not in control of your mind will take control of you. So I think it's very powerful to make sure that you're the one in control,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know? Make
Dead right.
sure you do that inner work. We always look at things on the outside world. But very rarely do we look inward and think, what can we fix? And it's not my I've said I've had arguments with Gemma even, and I've said it's not like I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what other people think of me. It's as long as I'm happy with who I am, that's fucking all that matters to me. I'm trying to be the best version of me, but that's at the same time, other people's opinions shouldn't bother me. What other people think of me does not bother me. You know, as long as I'm happy with who I am. So I've looked inwards a lot, and I'm happy with who I am. I'm content with who I am. So
Yeah,
when I have an argument over something, I'm not like saying, "Oh, I should have said this, I should have said that." I'm just saying, "Fuck that. Don't even care. Like that is what it is. She can think what she wants, or he can think what he wants. Like
yeah,
fuck it." And I'm very good at just switching the mindset to, wait, let's think positive now because that moment in time is gone. everything that happens in this life is just a moment in time. Remember that, because that shit's powerful. Because if you hold on to things, then you let it eat you up. But if you remember that everything is a moment in time, if you just let it happen as a moment in time and let it flow through you and accept it for what it is, then your eyes are open to the other moments and times, the beautiful things that may be happening in the world. You know? You might be caught up in your head thinking about this argument that happened an hour ago, but realistically, you might have seen some old man and a woman helping this old man and something beautiful happening. But if you're caught up in your own head, you're not going to see that beauty. You're not going to see someone helping an old man across the road or someone doing something nice for someone else. You know what I mean? Because you're all caught up.
I feel like that comes very natural to you. I think that probably stems off, like you said, your experiences growing up. But a lot of people, like I'm really into like trying to make myself as best I can, like physically, mentally. But I know I spend a lot of time like reading these books and getting around positive people and like stopping and pausing and almost like self-meditating, just talking to myself. And so I actively spend time like researching good podcasts to do that, or like good interaction.
Yeah, me too. I was only watching the Impact Theory earlier on. Where, I was watching the Impact Theory with Sadhguru. Now I watch him a lot because I love his mindset, and he's a monk, kind of like, you know, and I just like the way he thinks on life. Because like this is a big ass cosmos. If we think that our problems or our situations or even our life is that important, in 100 years, most people ain't gonna even remember who we are. So who cares? And you have a big impact on your people around you. But let's say you take your job too serious, for a perfect example, because so many people take their jobs too serious. If you die tomorrow, your boss is gonna fill your job next week. That job is gonna be filled. That job ain't that important. So you may be caught up with you, but that boss will replace you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But why do you care? Why do you care too much? Like I said, everything's a moment in time. We all have our moments in life where it's a beautiful thing, but like I said, let things flow through you and appreciate every day, even when you're having a shit day. I always, in the morning, I say what I'm happy for, and then in the night, I say what I'm happy for. Even if it's just the air that I breathe, or even if it's just that my kids have woken up today. Because like what I said, I went to bed one night, my mom was there, and the next day I woke up and she was gone. Because like I slept in, it was actually a Saturday, and my mom went to do a kid's hair for a confirmation or communion. Sorry.
Yeah.
And on the way back from that, she got in the car crash. You know what I mean? So, like, I was asleep. I just remember what she said. I remember the last word she said. But the next day I woke up and she was gone. So if you have woken up today or yesterday or tomorrow, whatever, and all your family members are still alive, that's enough to be thankful for. No matter what the fuck happened in the day, that's enough to be thankful for. So no matter how hard your day has been, if you can pick out 5 things to be thankful for, just make sure you be thankful. And once you are saying thanks for things, it puts you in that positive mindset of like, life ain't that bad, you know? Like, I'm really lucky. Like, there's people in Africa who have to travel 5 miles for a fucking bucket of water.
Yeah, you've got a bed, you've got a roof, like.
I go to me tap, like. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? So there's always things to be thankful for.
Definitely. Okay, so next question, got a couple left for you. Do you have mentors and coaches in your life, or are you kind of pretty much self-reliant, self-taught?
No, I have one main. I have 2 mentors almost. I wouldn't actually call one a mentor. He's just more of a friend. Yeah. And I have a good mentor, my manager, and he's had a serious impact on my life. And I have to say, his outlook on life is a beautiful thing, and it's always making me be better, choosing to be better, be a better person at home with my family, be a better person, just in general. You know, I have 2 mentors, but at the same time, like, the more friends that I just choose to give my energy to, more importantly than anything. Like, I don't pay no people to be my mentors. I know some people do that shit, but for me, it's like, I don't need to pay people to be my mentors. Now, if you want to be around certain people, sometimes you might have to pay them to be around them, and that's fine. But for me, it's like, if it ain't real, if you're not like my friend and trying to uplift me, then if it's not real or legit, I don't bother. You know what I mean?
It's almost like, like your circle of, like, you know, your close circle, you should all be mentoring each other along the way, sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
you're uplifting your friends. Like if there's someone in that circle that's a bad egg, it's like get them out of the circle. Like
Yeah, if you're not with me, you're against me. So fuck off. You know?
I have a great question for you here, right? I already know the answer. How do you deal with the critics, and more so your self-critic? And I know it's going to be a short answer.
Yeah, I just don't care. I don't give a beep. I just don't care enough. Because like that, it's not like, it's hard to explain because, for an example, I care what people think of my family and what people think of. I want to make my family proud, and I don't want to ever disrespect my family and do something that wouldn't make them happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, me personally as a human being and a man, I don't care. I'm not going to give anyone my energy who isn't trying to help me. So if anyone wants to get online and start slating me and saying this, that, and the other, take a look in the mirror. Your own life is probably shit. And probably if you're getting online to disrespect someone else who is trying to be good and trying to be a good person and help others and follow their dreams and chase their dreams, regardless of whether they've already hit them or they're on the way to hitting them, you're a shit person. Not a shit person because I'm not judging. I don't know what you've been through, but I don't know why you would get online. Your life is not perfect if you're hating on me for trying to chase my dream. So it's not my opinion. Like, it's not my, like, I don't care. I don't care. As long as I make myself proud, then that is all that matters to me. You know? It doesn't bother me what someone else's opinion is of me. Couldn't care less.
That's class, yeah. But it is true. It's like you said earlier, if something happens, there's a situation, you got two ways you can go with it. That way, like, oh, let me hate on someone else, is like you're getting that negative energy out because you don't want to do the hard shit, which is actually do something good with your life. So you're like, let me tear this guy down because I'm jealous that he's got all this happy energy and able to make the right path. So I don't get that either. Like, how can you spend, like, invest all that time that you're going to go hate on someone else into liking your own life? I just don't get it. Like,
yeah, like if you deliberately go online to to hate on someone else for trying to do good or trying to follow their dreams, regardless of what they're doing and where they're at in chasing that goal. If you have enough time and energy in your life to go online to hate on someone else, your life ain't all that great. But at the same time, then I look at it like, hey, who am I to judge? I try not to judge anybody. And at the same time, I hope people don't judge me. Because judgment is like, I don't think I'm a good person, I don't think I'm a bad person. I just think I'm me.
Yeah.
You know? That's the best way to think. Because, for an example, if you're around a load of people who are not doing great in life, now, that might be whatever, because we can all have good things and bad things going on. And what might be great for me might be shit to the next person, you know? But if I'm around, say, I'm going to use these words, I don't mean these words, but if I'm around, like, 5 losers who are doing nothing with their life, I'm going to feel like I'm a fucking animal. I'm deadly. I'm killing it in life, right? Yeah. This is just an example. I'm just using this as an example, so I don't mean anyone's a loser, because whatever. But if I'm around a load of successful fucking millionaires or billionaires, if I have £1 million in my bank account, but I'm at that chasing my goal and being a world champion or whatever, if these are billionaires and these are on yachts and boats, I'm still going to feel like shit that I'm not doing well.
Yeah, you know? You're the loser in the group.
You're the loser in the group. So it's all about who your circle is, who you're around, and your perspective and your view on yourself. So I try not to care what I have. It's more of who I become in the journey of getting what I want. Because in that way, I don't care what other people, materialistic things people have gained in their life. To me, success means you are doing what you choose to do in life. Whether that be a hall monitor, a fucking bus driver, or a world champion, or a PT coach, whatever that may be. If you are doing what you enjoy doing and what brings you joy, then I believe you're a successful person. And your life you're doing something positive with your life because you are enjoying your life. And we all can't be fucking, let's say, for example, Floyd Mayweather. We all can't be that 1% that's like killing it and making $1 billion. That Jeff Bezos, like, we all can't be them people. But we can all be who we are. So stop trying to fucking fit in and be like the Joneses and trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm not that type of person. I mainly like boxing and that because of the man I'm becoming through my journey through boxing. I don't care about anything that boxing is bringing me. You know, I know it's good, giving me a good life and all that, but I'm enjoying the person that I'm becoming throughout the journey.
That's powerful, that. Because, yeah, let's say, like, right, you become world champion, you've got all this amazing, you've got all this money, and you're buying yourself nice things because, you know, everyone likes to play with fast cars. And then one
Yeah,
day, right, someone cuts both your arms off, you can't box anymore, they pick you up and they throw you in, you're in a little rehab center with no fast cars, can't even put in your own trousers. They can't take away the man you are. Whereas if you never built that, then when you fall, you're fucked. Whereas if you fall, but you've built, like you said, who you are along the way is more important. Doesn't matter where you fall, because that same person is there, and that same person then can move forward with, like, you know, right, I've no arms now, I'm going to be a champion kickboxer next, you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like for me, I just believe that like happiness and inner peace and everything else comes from within.
yeah,
Everything comes from the mind and the view that you have on life. Like our five senses is what we think of life, you know. Everything that we see, touch, smell, eat, like everything that happens in a day, it's all how we then feel about that day. You know what I mean? So like what I said, if doing PTs brings you happiness and joy, that you're helping people hit their goals and all, and that's bringing you joy, then that's a beautiful thing. Keep
yeah.
doing it. Brilliant. That's a beautiful thing. You're successful. If me uplifting people and me becoming a world champion and people then look at my journey and say, well, he's made it out of the fucking shithole that he's from and he's been through a lot of shit that, like, you know, like
Yeah,
he had to do a lot of rough things. He moved out of his house when he was 15. Like, he was addicted to smoking weed for years, you know, and he's now a world champion and he's living a really good life. Why can't I? And then they go on that journey and path and they do that and it uplifts them. That brings me success. That brings me happiness. You know what I mean? So for me,
exactly.
me just being the best version of me is enough. Is enough. You know what I mean? I'm happy with
Yeah,
who I am.
yeah. That's cool though. That's how it should be. Is like, um, when you sleep at night, like, are you happy? Like, a job that pays a lot of money so you can go and do things, yeah, but are you happy in that job? Like, are you content with your life? Are you proud of yourself?
But the thing
Um,
is, like some jobs that you can be working fucking crazy hours and might pay loads of money, and on the outside you might have loads of materialistic things, and you might have a beautiful wife. She might be a model. She might be gorgeous at home, raising your kids with nannies, but you're working all day and you're not spending any time with them kids. I'd fucking rather be boxing and get my head punched in and getting injuries, but be home every day with my kids and being able to drop them to school and being able to pick them up from school and spend time with my family, because my family is what's important to me.
and
So
like those moments, and moments with your kids, moments with your family, rather than moments clocking in and
yeah, like
yeah,
life is not about walking, and like when you get up to heaven or you go to the afterlife, whatever that may be, do you think because you're successful or you've made a lot of money that God's going to say, well done, mate, you've done it in life? You know, I don't think it's like you have a big car or a big house and all. Like, I don't think that's like when I die, I'm not going to remember driving that Ferrari. I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to be remembering the times that I spent with them hippies, them times that I
yeah,
spent with my missus. You know what I mean? That was like solo, me and her, like going
yeah,
picking grapes for fucking months. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to remember all those times with my kids that I've spent times with the people that I love.
yeah.
So, like, that the thing, if that's what brings me happiness and joy. So, like, that's where I'm at in my life. You know what I mean?
Well, then, so a question to kind of roll into off that is, what advice would you give to someone on a similar road to you? And that can be like any struggles or any boxing sort of thing. Like anyone, like you said, you want someone to look at you and be like, this kid made it from the fucking shit situation he was in, and like what's your most valuable part of advice you give to them people?
Just trust the process, enjoy the journey. Don't be always worried about just the destination. And try enjoy the process and enjoy the whole road and the journey that you're on. And as even though, like especially the professional ranks, it's hard starting when you have to sell those tickets and you're bleeding half to a roof, and if you're not getting paid if you don't sell X amount of tickets and all this crap. Like, it's worth it if you believe in yourself. Then and you have passion for it, then it can be done, no matter what. But don't go half-arsed into things. Don't think, oh, I can be a professional boxer and try like live like Floyd Mayweather and go out and party and drink on the weekend and then be. It's not like that. That fella doesn't drink. He just be going out, but he's running straight after the nightclub and think. Most people don't do that. They go out and they actually drink and they party and whatever. Don't be trying to live the life of a successful person for social media. Grind your ass off. Focus on what is real. And mainly believe and trust the process. Don't be cutting corners. You know, there's many talented people out there, but at the same time, if you're not disciplined and you don't know and have a serious goal, then it's not worth it. But what I would say, it's almost like, for an example, you're a yacht. If a yacht starts off in Ireland and it wants to go to England, but it has no map to tell it how to go from A to B, it may go out to sea and be fucking going around in circles. That may be a yacht, but if we go on a speedboat and I have a map to tell me exactly A to B, I'm going to get there quicker than that yacht. I'm going to get there faster because I know where I'm going. So that's like that in life. Write down your goals. Know where you want to go. Write that goal down and then give a load of little smaller goals in order to get you to that big goal. Because if you don't actually know where you're going, then you're just going to go around in circles.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Even backwards, I'd say.
Yeah. That's the best advice I'd give anybody. Write your shit down. Know where you want to go. And then fucking write a load of steps down and follow them steps day in, day out.
And go all in.
Yeah, it has to be all in.
Yeah.
There's no point in half-arsed doing it, because if you're half-arsed doing it, the next person's going all in. He's going to be the number one. And trust me, there's no joy in being number two, especially if it's a boxing game, because number two is the one getting his head punched in. So fuck that, like.
Love it. Okay, the last question for you. What was the best piece of advice you ever got?
I've got asked this question a few times, and it's never the same answer.
Yeah.
Because it's always, like I said, I'm always like, I feel it at the time.
Yeah.
And my uncle used to always say, I'd rather be trialed by 12 than carried by 6. And that is basically,
say that again?
I'd rather be trialed by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be the one up for murder than the one getting carried in the coffin. That was his saying. Now, you can use that saying in any way of life that you want. You know what I mean? Another one was always treat people the way they treat you. If someone shows you nothing but love and respect, you treat them the same way. If someone's a whatever to you, make sure you're the exact same back, and don't give them any time. You fuck that, like, you don't need that shit in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My uncle was very passionate about that saying, and that was the uncle that I found passed away on my 16th birthday. And it was always that. I always felt it when I was in nightclubs and shit. Like, if someone's about to kick off, like, fuck it. Someone's going to kick off, I'm going to be the first one to start throwing down here. Fuck it. You know, like that. I'd rather be 12, but I'd rather be the one doing the damage than be the one getting the damage done to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it may be crazy and some people won't agree with it, but it is what it is.
I also think, though, there'll be a time and a place where that comes in effective. It's like, yeah, you don't want to go out there looking for fights to start, but there's a scenario that's going to happen, and that's where you have to kick that into gear.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. That's the, like, fight or flight in you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And, like,
when it's fight or flight time, like...
Yeah, I've had that in boxing loads, you know what I mean? Where I've been like, you're either, like, we've been both exhausted, and I've had it in sparring, we're both exhausted, but it's like, either I punch him or he's going to punch me. And, like, that's the same. Like, I don't mean that, like, I'd rather kill someone than be the one getting killed, but I'd rather be the one punching the head off him than him being the one punching the head off me. So I may be exhausted here and now, but so is he. So do you want to be the one pounding on him, or do you want him pounding on you? Because one way or the other, it's going to go down. You know what I mean? We're both standing here, we're both ready and willing to fight. So whether I'm hitting him or he's hitting me, you know, so that's why sometimes you see me and I can be exhausted, but I'll just be able to keep punching. Because the mindset I have is like, shit, I'm tired, but I'm either going to be getting beat up here and be bollocks, or I'm gonna be the one laying his fucking ass out. Like, so I'm gonna hurt him or he's gonna hurt me. One or the other.
Dead right, dead right. That's 100% right. Well, I don't know if you have anything else. Like, I had those couple of questions kind of lined out for you, but if you have anything else you want to say or share, definitely feel free.
Nothing so much like just that I want to just throw in there, but more or less, I think it's better. I know it's very like cliche and stuff, but it's better to give than to receive. You know, and a lot of times I don't mean just give materialistic things, but giving your time and energy to somebody. Sometimes our advice, if you've been through a situation, help others in those similar situations that need your help. Or, you know, you might be a little bit older, you can give advice, give that advice. And then another thing what I'd like to say is, I got told this when I was about 21. Never forget, it was a great bit of advice. You know, when you have friends or people that you know and love, when you're always like, how's things, pal? Always when you ask that, people always, no matter if they're having a shit day or a great day or whatever, they're always like, all good. And then they're going to just talk about normal things. Yeah. But always ask people more than one time when you're in the conversation then with them, not just at the start of the conversation, how's things? Always say, ask someone actually how they are. No, but like, really, like, how's life? Like, how are you getting on, like, with family? And then, only the second time you ask that question will you really get a true answer on how people's lives are. Some people sometimes don't want to speak about it, but then sometimes some people need to speak about it. And believe it or not, you can save a life by asking that question the second time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Like you said, it's almost just a formality. Hey, what's the crack? Yeah, you know, like, doesn't matter what the crack is. Yeah, good. How are you? Like,
yeah, always
say hello. Like,
oh yeah, exactly, especially with Irish people. But at the same time, if you actually truly care for someone, always ask them 2 times how things are. Now, how's things at home? How's life? How's the missus? How's the family? You know, always actually ask the second, how are you? People never actually ask, how are you? It's always, how's the boxing? Or how's the this? How's the that? It's never, how are you as a human being? You know what I mean?
Like,
it's fucking crazy.
I know for me personally, if you were in this room right now and you're like, hey, Kez, how's it going? I'd be like, Gran, yeah, how are you? And you'd be like, yeah, how you doing? I'd be like, yeah, good. But then if you were like, yeah, but like, really, how are you? Then I'm like, oh, like, this is actually a place I can talk. He's not just being saying, hey, how's it going? So
exactly.
if I hear it once, if I really needed to talk to someone, I still wouldn't say it that first time because it's that formality of just saying hello. But if you ask me twice and I had that eye contact, I'm like, shit, this is an opportunity I have here to actually talk. I am having a bad day. Or, you know, I do want to share this thing with this person. So.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's the best bit of advice I got off. It was actually Gemma's uncle who said it to me before. Yeah. And when he said it to me, I was like, wow, that's powerful shit, like, you know? Yeah, people don't do it. People don't ask each other enough these days how people are. They're always concerned with just how bullshit is, like how social media is, how, I seen you were driving that Lamborghini or that Ferrari. Nobody cares about that shit. Like, let's be real. Like, people are just making conversation, but I believe if you care for somebody or you have a true friend or real friends, you should always ask that question 2 times. That's the only thing. That's the only input that I'd have in life. The extra little thing that I would say is always ask those people that you care about how they are feeling. It's powerful.
Yeah. That is powerful. That's probably one of my favorite things you said today. So definitely, I love that. Thank you, Jem.
Yeah, well, I hope you can take something on with this conversation. You know, like I don't like to just speak to people for the sake of bleeding, talking and use my voice. Like, I hope one person at least can take a leaf out of my book and say, you know what, that one thing that he says, if one person, if it can help one person and say, and he just remembers one thing that I've said, you know, then this was time well spent.
Yeah, that's honestly the point of this podcast. Is just like, if I'll have a conversation with someone, I'm like, that was hugely powerful. Like, more people need to hear this because it stayed in my brain and helped me massively. So, like, you talking about the moments in time, it's like, that's something I've been thinking about more consciously lately. But it's like, why should I keep that to myself? Like, let's let everyone know that it's that simple. Stop and think about these moments. Like, you know what I mean? We're all in it together. Like, no one knows what the fuck happens in life. We're all on this ride together. No one has it figured out. You can just try your best and help others as you go. Like,
yeah, well, I definitely believe this whole world and all us beings and animals and all is all connected. Regardless, we just think we're better than others and other animals because we're more intelligent, but really we're not. Because if you like, Sad Guru was saying this today. It was like an oak tree doesn't try to be like an apple tree. You know, an oak tree just wants to be the best oak tree it can be. You know, it starts from the roots, which is like us inside. Starts from the roots first, and that's where the main work goes in to be the best like oak tree can be. It doesn't look at the orange tree beside it and say, "Shit, I want to start growing some oranges." You know, it doesn't do that. So we're the only creatures and things, like, you know, the same with like a bleeding bunny rabbit. Like, they just are being who they are, what they are. I think we all need to be who we are and what we are, and the life, I think, will be a wonderful thing. And try not judge others. Judgment is a horrible thing because we only think we're better, we're good people because we judge what other people are doing worse than us. But does that make us good because we're judging what they do bad?
Yeah, and part of me now thinks when I'm judging people, like I'll always keep it in my head. I don't slate anyone out in the streets now, but in my head I'm like, something's going wrong with them. Like they're having a bad day. They don't have the skill set yet to stop and see where they are and how they're reacting. So it's kind of like,
definitely.
Like I grew from going through shit and being a bad person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now when I see these people, I'm like, they're having a bad day and they don't know how to not have a bad day, or they don't realize it.
Yeah.
They'll come around
100%.
like, I don't know this person, I'm not going to go talk to them. But if it was a friend of mine, I'm like, hey, like, you got to change things. Like,
yeah, that's like me as well. I won't pull anybody unless I really care about them. You know what I mean? I won't tell someone that they're being nasty or they should do it this way or should do it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless I care about them, because some people that, like you said, don't have the skill set to deal with the situation, or I don't know what happened in their past, or their, like, you know what I mean? So I don't judge how they are reacting. Like, just for example, I seen someone hit a kid there a while ago out, like in fucking pennies or something it was, and I was like, oh my God, because I don't hit my kid. But their man probably hit them, and they just probably think that's right and that's correct. Now, I straight away went to judge, and I was like, I don't know her past, I don't know what her mom and dad done to her, but we can't stop what happened to other people. But what we can do, or we can't, like, for an example, I can't help what happened to my dad, but I damn well sure can help who I'm going to be and how I'm going to raise my kids. So it's my kid to be a better person than my dad has been. And it's my kid's job to try be a better person who I've been. And I just think if we can all try have the next generation better, then the world will be a better place.
No, I agree with that. That's true. It's kind of like I look at my own life and I'm like, my mom was the absolute best mom ever, and there's these little gaps where I fell down as a person because there's things I didn't get taught as a kid, but she was never taught them, and if anything, she was probably taught less than she taught me. So it's like, I'm not thinking like, you never gave me this. It's like, shit, that was missing from your childhood. I learned it in a hard way, but shit, I'm gonna make sure my nieces get taught this. And then
that's powerful. That's
really
exactly what I mean. And I remember being on a jog and I was listening, I forget what I was listening to one time, but after the jog I had to text my dad. I don't want to slate my dad, I don't even want to be talking about his business, but basically when my mom passed away, because this is a big part of my life as well, the reason I moved out, my dad turned to the drink, and I didn't respect him for it. I thought in my head that he should have been a man and he should have stepped up and been there for me and been there for my sister and being there, you know, like, because we were the kids and blah, 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 blah. But then it was like, my dad was better than his dad, and his dad was better than his dad. And then I realized, like, my dad just doing the best that he could do at that time.
And
so
like,
then
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know, and it's hard to cope with things. Like when shit's the fan, like he lost a loved one, he lost the love of his life as well. You know, so for me, selfishly, I was like saying he should have done this and he should have done that because I wanted them to be better from me. But then after the joke, I forget what podcast I was listening to, but it put into perspective some of the shit that went on. Whatever was in the podcast, it really related to what I was going on in my life. So I actually texted my dad after, and I said, Dad, listen, I forgive you for all the shit we've been through. Because me and my dad was very close before my mum passed. And then we had a really turbulent relationship for a very long time, you know. Because he raised me to be a man. And he also raised me to treat others the way they treat you. And at the time, he wasn't treating me too good because he was too focused on the drinking. So I was like, I was going crazy at the time, you know. So the thing was, I was like, I rang him straight away, or texted him straight away. I forget whether I rang him or texted him. I was like, I forgive you for everything that you've done, and I don't, like, you know. And he was like, wow, son, thank you for that. I really like that. I really appreciate that message. Like, that's beautiful that, like, you just reached out to me and basically just told him that I forgive you for all the fuck-ups, and I don't judge you for any of the fuck-ups. I know you were just dealing with this situation how you thought best and you felt best. And he really loved that I got in contact with him. And ever since, we've had a much better relationship. Like, when I say a much better relationship, like, this is only, like, my mum died when I was 15. I'm now 28 or 29. This was only about 7 or 8 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so through all that time, I'm only grown to develop to be I'm trying to be a better person constantly. And like that, listening to certain podcasts and positive people. Now, in the past 9 months, me and my dad's had a great relationship. It's mad.
That's amazing.
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got back to being like proper buddies again. I'd be chatting to him all the time now, you know what I mean? And then one or two other things happened where I wasn't happy in those 9 months or whatever, and I wasn't happy with, like, certain something that he said, or he didn't get in contact with me when something happened or whatever the situation was. And I just rang him as a man and said, listen, you should have done this, and you should have rang me and said this. And he was like, sorry, son, I just didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say to you. But instead of holding it in and letting that shit eat me up, I spoke it straight away. And because I didn't let it eat me up, it didn't build on me. And like what we were saying earlier, I didn't keep going over shit in my head. I just said, you know what, this is bothering me that he didn't get on to me. I'm going to fucking get on to him. So I got on to him and I let him know how I felt. So he, straight away, like, he was, boom, I'm sorry, son, I should have been on to you, and I apologise. And we got over it in 10 minutes of talking. And then, boom, we were best buddies again.
Instead of 10 years of resentment, like,
rather than hold on to things, like I was saying earlier, let things flow. Like, don't hold on to shit. If something's bothering you, speak your mind, you know?
I think if you can calmly communicate as well, like, if you're like, you should have done this, straight away you're blaming and shaming almost. Whereas if you say, hey, this happened and this is what I think, like communicate, like, calmly. And then, like you said, you found out, he said to you, like, I didn't know what to do. So it wasn't like he didn't care or didn't give a shit. He was like, shit, I don't know what to do. And like we said, each generation, like, you're more developed than he would be with that type of thing. Same like I would be to my mom.
He actually said that.
Tell her, like, hey, you hurt my feelings, let's figure this out. She's like, I don't know what to do, so I'll just say nothing. That's typical Irish thing as well, like. Yeah.
And the thing is, as well, I find that old Irish way is like, if you don't know what to do, you just stay quiet. Like, you know, like, my nan used to say, no, man, good to say, don't say it all, and all this shit. Like, but I feel like the old Irish men are very much, and my dad's not old, but I mean, like, the old mindset. Yeah. And he is a very old school type of guy, like, man's man. It's like, if you have problems and you just deal with the problems yourself, don't have to speak on them. Just, like, let them be. But he will then bottle it up, and that shit will eat him up for a long time. Whereas I'm not like that. I'm like, shit, this is annoying me a little bit. I need to say this to him. So I just spoke with him straight away, and it was the best thing I could have done, because, like, I then got over it in 10, well, it wasn't actually 10 minutes. It was a good, like, 35, 40 minutes. But it was a very intense, awkward conversation to be having with him then. But it was good because I didn't let it build on me for 2 days. If I let it build on me for 2 days, I would have had an argument with him, you know, that way. Like,
what comes out of that awkward situation? Have that awkward convo now, or resent and build it, and then have that outburst. Like.
100%. And because I done that and said it to him, I then understood his mindset on it. And like I said, I don't judge people anymore. I try my best, at least, not to judge people anymore. And when he told me, I just didn't know what to do. And blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, right, well, now I got your explanation for it. I can understand where you're coming from. And then it led me to understand where he was coming from, and then he understood me then, where I was coming from. I said, like, I'm your son, you should have gone on to me when this happened, that happened. But it was a beautiful, awkward fucking conversation that we had. But the best thing that came of it is that we both have grown in our relationship from even that conversation. Because it wasn't like, you should have done this, because when you blame someone and point the finger, straight away someone puts up a wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's defensive mode, and then nothing gets through, and it's like boom, and you just like, it's an argument then. Whereas I just said, listen, I feel like this is what you should have done, and this is just how I feel. Like, I'm not saying you should have, I'm just saying this is how I feel. And like that, I don't judge anymore. It's the best thing is just never judge, because you don't know what other people are going through in life, you know? You just genuinely never do.
Yeah. Nah, I love that. That's so true, like, so true.
But Kez, I'm going to have to let you go because my phone's actually saying 2%
Let's
gonna
go.
go.
Yeah, I'll see you later, pal. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And say hi to Gemma for me.
Thank you, I will do. God bless. And I hope you're enjoying your life over there. Looks like you're living the life.
The life's all in here, though, you know?
100%. That's it.
Right,
Everything comes from money and perspective.
See you later.
God bless. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for having me.
All good. Pleasure.
Bye-bye.